It's hard to hear it has that advanced age. You just asked if Georgia was going to beat Clemson this weekend. I said, no way. I needed to intercede on my people.
I sent him a, no, he worked hard and he's good. That boy's going to do, hey, brother, come on back. You good? We got a problem. We don't, we're going to lose our good to see y'all. Tell Spencer I'm a fan of his. I really am. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. So much. I appreciate you coming out. It is a real honor to be in Union. As Colonel O'Neill said, this is Freddie Goff's territory. First time, Freddie used to work with us. First time we were here, we'd go into places and I'd start shaking hands. They would shake Freddie's hand. On pictures, they would want Freddie's picture. He's a hero here. And Freddie, appreciate you coming out. You did a great job with us and always being dedicated. Folks, we brought our staff from Washington and from our district office. People know one of the great things about being in Congress is what we can do for veterans, for passports, for DD-214s, for anything as far as driver's licenses. And I really want you to reach out to us because a lot of times that gets lost in the mix. But we enjoy doing it. We enjoy going to work. I've got some of the best people around that know the ropes. Kathy Rose Hickman has been around and knows everybody everywhere. So use us. Don't be bashful for that. You're not bothering me. That's one of the joys that I really have in serving in Congress. I think the veterans here is doing it to leave our brave soldiers behind. There is no excuse for what's happening. It's intentional. It is our personnel carriers. And folks, that's just we went over this and they act like they didn't know what was there, which is a crime in and of itself. To not know, not even destroying it. They've got biometrics that Americans, that the Taliban can use to track Americans. To track, it is what it is. What we're doing is introducing legislation to impeach pretty much the whole crowd, starting with Biden today and others. I will tell you, Secretary of State Blinken, Dr. Harris and I led the charge on that. Secretary of State's running this show. And I would say it's incompetence, but it's intentional. It's more than incompetence. I don't know what brain would leave this out. I don't understand that. Those of you in the military don't understand. There are people who are willing to go in there now and they're going to have to fight the Taliban, who are using the very equipment that we're leaving over there. So I pray for the families. I pray that the American people will wake up. I left the house this morning. He is taking credit for ending Biden is taking credit for ending the 20-year war, and then COVID. It's embarrassment for a president of the United States. He needs to turn the teleprompter around, just let the American people read it. He can't read it, which is sad in and of itself. But he takes no questions, he can't answer them, but he doesn't care. Y'all all seen the wife, the widow, the Gold Star widow who's approached him about their son being dead. But anyway, I mean, that's kind of what that's top story now. We're going to do the impeachment. Is it going anywhere? Probably not. My concern is the people that we're going to put in there. And Kamala Harris, really? But there's no wrong answer. I'm for getting rid of all of them and let chips fall where they're at, and then maybe something will happen. Let me go over some of the top things that I think are really threatening this country. I've been to the border twice. Anybody is coming in to hear the Border Patrol agents who are changing diapers say that the fentanyl is coming across into America. The drug cartels are making $500 million a month. To see the child sex trafficking, to see the criminals that are coming across. Get this. By the end of this year, in another 2 months, we will have 1.8 million illegals in this country. We went on a raid, Sheriff, at night. I didn't see the guy. He was a 14-year-old gang member, tattooed up to here, cussing the officer, saying Biden is letting me in. You can't stop me. Guess where he's coming? Charleston, South Carolina. They wouldn't allow pictures. They're flying these people all over the country through executive order and just dropping them in cities. And look at the desperation on these people's faces. Look at law enforcement. I feel sorry, Sheriff, for law enforcement. When they stop one of these, it's desperation. They don't know the language. They don't have a job. They don't have any way of making a living. But imagine a police officer stopping somebody, many of whom are going to be not have the best interests of our country. And the criminals that are coming across, it's just an open door policy, which is unbelievable. We got on the air when we left McAllen, Texas. We got on the airplane, American flight, 120 seats. Guess how many seats were taken up by illegals? 100. What they had, get this, what they had was a cardboard box about the size of this tray. Don't speak the language, and show me which plane to get on. We took a picture. Mary Miller, who's a newly elected congressman out of Illinois, we took a picture. They all got the same paperwork.
Yeah.
It wasn't 15 seconds. A girl came by who was her guardian, I guess. Questioned us, why'd you take a picture? Well, we want to see what was on. You can't do that. Well, we did. And so we said, we're going to keep the picture. But the bottom line, they're taking them to cities and they're registering the vote. They're putting them on the voter rolls. That's the only logical reason to keep power, to let these people in this country. They care nothing about the ramifications. I don't know what the schools are going to do. I was talking to a Salvation Army member. I said, what are you going to do? When the schools start swelling from 20 children to 40, are they going to teach them language? I mean, how are you going to handle it? Do Americans get pushed out? I mean, that's what's happening in this country. So that really concerns me. This defunding police. The reason I say it's evil, there is a group, and it's led by the radical Democrats, the AOCs, Rashida Tlaib's, have taken over. They can afford security. When I first got to Congress, Nancy Pelosi parked beside me. Guess how many security guards she had? 6. She has 6. Right. All with AK-47s. They can afford it. They got gates around the houses. Miss Bush, who camped out at the Capitol, they had, I think they spent $70,000 on security. Yet she's calling for defunding the police. Folks, we have riots now every day, just about every day in Washington. If you could go to Washington, D.C., and I tell people don't come out because it's not safe. I'm more than able to get shot because the color of my skin now. You can't do a press conference without Antifa and those coming out. And we just got to kick back on this. There's no nobler group of people than law enforcement, and they use they're the first ones they jump on. We've got to start voicing our opinion. If we don't, we're going to have anarchy, just like Portland, just like New York, and just like California. But this is a serious problem. Don't think it's not coming here, because it is. And don't think law enforcement is not going to have to deal with the illegals that are coming in, because they are. They're coming in because we got the job. It's a great place to live, but we got to battle it. The other thing that is a real concern that every one of y'all know about, banning free speech. They're banning now. In fact, David showed me the mother of the slain Marine who really got on Biden. They banned it. They took it off. I guess it was on Facebook. This scares me. This is, and I've been banned. We did with Frontline Doctors, we had a press conference and had an MD who was telling the effects on her patients of hydroxychloroquine. On her patients. She's an MD. She's not some flat. They banned us. You know why? Hydroxychloroquine is cheap. It's like aspirin. It works on a lot of COVID patients. So imagine driving your car or your truck and Tony having the whole panel blocked out. You don't know how much gas you got, you don't know how much oil, you don't know how much whether it's running hot. That's what the press is doing. And I get asked all the time, why aren't y'all saying something? And my question, try going through the airport. I'm there every week. Guess what's blaring on the news? CNN, ABC, MSNBC. They're not going to tell you what's right. They're not reporting what Biden's doing now, which is an atrocity. But we've got to change this. The only thing I know we can do is they have rigged the system where you can't sue them. We're trying Section 230. We're going to try to change that. Is it going to take time? Yes. It's going to take time. But we're going to do it. We've got to do it. We cannot allow, we will be another Venezuela, another Cuba, another China if we don't have the information. The press is not giving it to us. They're an elite bunch who think they have the answers. They think we're stupid. And we've got to fight back against it. And the only way to do it is for us to get voted. This is a picture of a burned out church. During COVID, our churches are under attack. You notice the press and the media really wanted masks and wanted people to shut down businesses from gyms to churches. They didn't mention anything about the gambling halls or the mosque. They didn't mention anything about the rioters, which our vice president put up bond money so they could get out. You had an actual vice president putting up bond money for criminals to get out. There were, I think, 22 cities that were ravaged, and the dollars spent, unbelievable. Yet they're not accountable. In California, you can go in and if you loot up to $1,000, you get away scot-free. I mean, who would think of this? But churches have got to start stepping up. There's no greater time for churches, for one, to preach the gospel, and two, to get activated. I mean, churches, and let me tell you, there's two different worldviews I face now with the radical Democrats. The worldview, the two different worldviews or difference of opinion, the radical left thinks this is theirs. And that's what I tell the pastors. The more dollars that you give to government, how are you going to expand your churches? What missions are you going to go on? How is this going to affect your pay? We need to tell them in those blunt terms. If you don't start getting active, and politics, the church and state, it was never intended for the church to stay out of the state, out of the sermons that are given. They're scared of tax exemption taken away. Folks, it's not time to be scared. So get with your preachers and ask them that question, because what's coming down the pipe I'm facing. Taxes out there. Taxes, the whole tax plan that Trump passed is going to be done away with. Capital gains is going up 7%, 1031 tax deferred exchanges, the whole list. God help farmers who want to pass their estate on to their families. They're going to have a stepped up basis that you don't have to pay. They've got in the latest provisions, they've got a way to track the mileage on cars. I mean, it goes on and on. And so, my final, by the way, this is not me. A lot of people think that's me, but that is not me. I put this up here, our republic is hanging by a thread. I see it. I mean, we're hanging by a thread. And that's where you come in. Politicians are not going to do the job, folks. There's 535 of us. What has it gotten us? 20, they will argue 30 trillion in debt. I will argue we're 60 trillion in counting. They're trying to bankrupt the country. Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, Highway Trust Fund. Name me one agency that's not going broke. They're spending your money like it's theirs. Enough is enough. Their plan that I'm facing, the first 7 months, defund the police, pack the courts, D.C. statehood. They're trying to make D.C. a statehood, which constitutionally can't be. It has no way. South Carolina's a manufacturing state. D.C. is all residential residences. They don't have no way to pay taxes. They have no way to I mean, it's ludicrous, and they're violating the Constitution. That's where we're going. That's their plan, and it's come at us so quick that it's shocking, to say the least. Now, what can you do? Does it work if you send a letter to Nancy Pelosi? No. Does it work if you send a letter to Gavin Newsom out of California? No. Take ownership in your town. Take ownership in Union, South Carolina. Now, what does that mean? What I would ask you to do is get with your school board. Ask for printouts. Where's the COVID money? Schools in South Carolina take 50% of the money. Go to your city councils and get a group of people to go, because you can't do it by yourself. Get a group to go and have a discussion. Go to your city council, county council. What about funding for the law enforcement? Folks, there's no better time to do that now. There's no better time to do that. And let me give you an example that I use that it shows the thought process of a lot of people today. I had a mother, well known in Rock Hill, call me. She said, "Congressman, I need you to pass a bill." I said, "Okay, what bill?" She said, "Well, my daughter went to school. In the curriculum was, what would you do if you came home and your mother was having an affair? If you found out your father was transsexual?" I said, "Wait a minute, no, I can't pass the bill. What I can do," and I would suggest this, get 5 people, get the principal, get the teacher, and know the language, know exactly what was being taught. I'll go with you. She said, "Congressman, that's great, I'm excited." She called me back the next morning. She said, "Congressman, I can't do it." I said, "Why?" She said, and this really got me. She said, "I'm scared what will happen to my other 2 children, the repercussions." And I said, "Where's your husband? Where are your neighbors? Scared what will happen?" I mean, I get it, but I said, that's not going to solve the problem. And I didn't say go in and throw books at them. I didn't say cuss them out. I said, let's just have a conversation. But that's not what built America. What built America were entrepreneurs who were willing to take a risk, who used their God-given talent to rise to the highest heights or fail. And so that's the fight that we've got to have. All of you have got a talent. And I will tell you, you've got to use it. I would ask you to use it now. Politicians are not going to do it. We're going to do what we can. But we're in a battle. We're in a battle as never before. And without each one of you running for office at different levels, votes matter. The good thing about what we're seeing now, if there's a bright light, it shows you how votes matter. Who you put in office matters. In any business, in any military, law enforcement, it goes down to people. If you don't get the people that can get the job done, and folks, we got some people on the left now that's not getting the job done. They're anti-American, they hate this country, it's power, it's evil, and it's elitism. That's all, it is intentional. That's what's so frustrating about where we are right now. Now, let me tell you the good news. What we're facing now is Jimmy Carter on steroids. Guess what Jimmy Carter brought us? Ronald Reagan. The good news is Jimmy Carter brought us Ronald Reagan. It first starts with the midterm elections, getting good people in office at every level, not just the congressional or the higher offices, but at every level. And I don't care whether it's Ron DeSantis, if it's President Trump, if it's Tim Scott, I don't care who it is. But we've got to get a president in office. We've got to get the election system fixed. Anybody who thinks this election was done fairly, the reason they're fighting us so hard is because they don't want the truth to come out. Kind of like COVID. How many investigations are they doing on how COVID got here? Anybody who thinks it came from a bat in a wet market? And it's a pretty good coming attractions, folks. We've got other things coming our way from China. China is not our friend. And that's what's so frustrating to see this president not only give in to the Taliban, but he's bought and sold with China. And aside from the fact that he's mentally not cognitively there, it's a challenge. But America's always risen to the challenge. No greater time than now for we the people to get involved. If we don't, we're going to lose it, I will tell you. It's so important to use your voice. Don't be quiet. I had a Marine tell me, he was talking, he said, Norman, I said, I'll be glad to, he said, I'll vote for you if you need that or if you need bullets. He's ready to fight. Because we're in a battle. And I dread what's coming. There's a report out this morning that, in fact, 2 people had called me from the military, special forces, who were saying some of these people that are in this country now, Quantico and another outlet, are going to start killing Americans because they're not vetting in our country. So it's coming here. And that's why I feel for law enforcement. I feel for those who are on the front lines. We've got to back them, we've got to get vocal, and we've got to get active. So, now, let me open it up to any question. Yes, sir.
I'm going to go ahead and throw my man card on the table because I don't know if
I'm going to keep asking.
real minds right now in the world. I'm going to go ahead and throw my man card on the table because I don't know if I want to make it through this. My name's Dave Jarvis. I'm a retired disabled special needs veteran. I'd like to give you just said something I hope you don't mind. People have a misconception of what special forces is. All of you spend a lot of money, millions of dollars on me and my team to go in to teach, train, and organize elements on how to overthrow governments. We wrote the rule book. That rule book, I can see it plain as day. And everything you just look at this is being used against us. Any special forces person up there can tell you. I'm sorry, I'm saying. I served under commanders and chiefs from Ronald Reagan to the last Bush. I literally have the skin and blood the parts of my soul is current events. Sunday morning, I was back to church, and I was watching the return of the fallen Marines. And my wife saw me shaking, crying. And I looked over and said, you know, we got a promise. We go to battle together, head first. If we fall, or we get back, we always come back feet first. Y'all don't understand the symbolism of that, why they were brought out feet first in that castle. They were brought home with honor and dignity. And when I saw Biden and that chief of staff up there, when I saw them in their piousness, knowing as a special forces operator that those lives were totally unnecessary, totally to blame for that chain of command, not my fellow soldiers, not my special forces teams. This could have been done right, and it could have been done better. I could have planned this operation better than what happened there. And I said, sorry, why I hadn't seen it like this since I was shaking with the flashbacks and the terrors. Uncles, fathers, I served with men that were spit but gone. They come home from the Vietnam War. And I know I'd go to jail for it, but I'd have been there and I'd have spit in Biden's face. He had no right and no authority to be there. Congressman, a lot of politicians like to quote our forefathers. Thomas Jefferson made a prediction, not a threat. The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. Is that where we're at? I've always been a man of action. I'm talking very eloquent with my words. When are we going to see some actions, not orders?
Hey, Dave. You know, I get asked that all the time. And I guess action boils back to replacements. I mean, what's going on now is you got to replace people. In the military, I don't know how many of you followed Eddie Gallagher, who we helped. Donald Trump helped him. He would have been in jail for killing the Taliban.
Well, you know, they are approved and appointed by Congress in those top positions.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get them out.
Well, it's embedded. Biden is being led by a deep state that
Amen.
That is again evil, and it's something that we just gotta. We're gonna start at the top. We're gonna do what we can. Are we gonna be successful? Time will tell. We don't have the votes in the House, but the Senate is 50-50. You need to write Lindsey Graham. You need to write Tim Scott to toe the line when it comes to not just spending, but when it comes to as it comes up. But no, we've got to. It's a challenge, and the only way. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I wrote you a room with the Graham, but I'm bragging on you and your staff. I got back to you. I got addressed the situation with you and your staff. I wrote Lindsey Graham. I got back a letter asking for money in the mail.
Asking for money.
All right. So I bet you years ago I did this for when I was here. You looked me in the eye. You didn't bullshit me. And I didn't know nothing about government then. And I trusted and I followed it. I need that man. He got me right. He helped me out when I needed it.
Well, and we'll do it for everybody. We really try to do that.
I'll shut up.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. Other questions? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Congressman. My name is Mark Dodds. This is my wife, Katie Dodds. We live in Carlisle. You say you want to get us involved? We have the Carlisle address, but they're not allowed to vote in the town. It's so locked up out there that you cannot get a vote. We tried to open a laundry room in Carlisle to help the community. We spent our life savings doing it. College, you know who they are. College is supposed to be helping the people in the rural communities get loans to do business. They turned us down because of Carlisle. About Carlisle.
The economic situation.
We've got better standards. We've spent a lot of money trying to help Carlisle out, and we were turned down because of the town. And yet we cannot even vote in that town.
Let me suggest this to you. everything is a process today. One thing I'll give the far left socialists, they stick with stuff, they don't give up.
Amen.
They started working against Trump the day, they were impeaching Trump the day after he left. My point is, get together. I've been on both sides of the aisle. When I was in the private sector, I actually got in politics, but I couldn't get a politician to return my call. When I got in it, you won't believe when the politicians are behind the line, behind the doors, they say, well, so-and-so had 5 people. You got to get more than 2 people. You got to get 5 people to go. And they say, well, you know, they're really creating some problems for us. Most of them have some skeletons they don't want out. The good news is you got to stick with it, and you got to pinpoint exactly what the cause is. And we'll help you in any way. If it's a letter, I will use our office to dig anything up. Corruption, it doesn't matter. We will do whatever, but stick with it and get a file with dates. You know, I've never seen anything regular mail anymore.
Yeah.
I send certified letters where they have to sign it, and you have a date on it, and you have it personal. So that was my advice, and I don't know the particulars of your situation, but it doesn't smell right, it doesn't sound right, probably it's not right, but stick with it.
You know who Catawba is, right? You know the lending institution Catawba?
Oh yeah, yes sir.
Okay. We were turned down twice by the same company for a $50,000 loan just to get the doors open. We already had everything else done. They bankrupt us to get us out of that town. Literally bankrupt us.
We're not the only ones.
We're not the only ones. There's 3 other people waiting to try to get occupational license. The Union County wanted to give it to us.
But they let them have $1.
Yes.
Get with, Kathy, go ahead.
That's all right. I'll make sure to give you my card. Are you talking about an SBA loan?
We were just trying to get the doors open. We already had the equipment in the building. We had done everything the union wanted us to do, including the COVID. Including the COVID, upgrading everything for COVID and everything else. And Catawba was right there. And then when we gave us a $50,000 loan, we had over $100,000 worth of equipment inside the building.
My point is, we'll dig into it. I'm not just saying that. And we can't help you, we'll tell you that too. But you've got more power than you think. One thing I've learned, we the people have got a lot more power than you think. And you're fired up, rightfully so. Dig into it, don't let them get by with you.
We've been trying to fund that.
All right, get with her, do that, see what happens. Give us a chance.
Okay, remember, our number is 803-327-1114. You'll hear from me anytime.
And let me give y'all my cell number, 242-4558. 803-242-4558.
Mine actually is a question carried back to Ted Cruz and several Republicans on January 6th when that insurrection went on. They had told everybody they were going back in there. Their words were they were going to stand up. Well, all that went on. They walked back in there and both came back there. Why do I keep getting wanting donations for Republicans that will not stand up and do what? Like the Democrats do. They stand up and they'll fight no matter what to keep it going. But we've got Republicans like Ted Cruz backing down, and yet all these Republicans want donations from people who are living under disability. And it's enough. If they're not going to do what they tell the American people they're going to do, they need to go too.
Well, again, it comes down to people. Now, Ted Cruz has been right a lot. He may have been disappointed on some things. Ted Cruz has been active on a lot of things. He votes right. He doesn't vote to bankrupt the country.
Well, it don't matter if they cannot stand together, all of them together. When we need them to stand together, why do we need to keep them in there if they cannot stand up for the important
So
issues?
research and don't get it. I would suggest don't get it. You should. Unless you believe in it, research and don't get it. Yes, ma'am.
In January, I was laid off from my job after being in the dental field for 19 years. I
have a 5 and a 6-year-old at home. I was laid off due to COVID because I had to stay at home with my kids. I'm a single mom. I have been fighting unemployment since January. I have had appeal after appeal after appeal. I talk to someone different every time I talk to them. Every single time. And only these people can see this and these people can see that. I have been without a paycheck since January. I am only on child support. It's what I'm trying to live off of. I've had 2 eviction notices. I've been in this home for 7 years. I can't even get food stamps. I see people lazy to pick up a phone and call my job to tell them I'm not working there anymore. I have no income whatsoever except my child support, and I can't get the governor's office, the senator's office, the White House. I have emailed, I have called, I have sent letters, I have done everything. But I can't get anything. I don't care about me. I can live out on the streets, but my 5 and 6-year-old don't deserve this. The schools, the daycares were shut down. I had to shut down with them. I had to be out with my kids. And it's not right for the state, the government, not to help me or my kids. And I'm just so sick and tired of this. This is just, it's not me. This is not me at all. But been fighting since January, and here it is, March, September. What kind of help can I get for my children?
We do this all the time.
Come on, let's go. Who's going to call?
Kathy Rose can fix it, I promise you.
Representative Dorman, I have 2 questions. I'm a retired civil service employee, CSRS. I keep hearing talk, there's something in Congress where my Social Security was really reduced because of GPO, government pension offset, and/or windfall elimination provision. But I keep hearing talk that they might do something about that. Can you update me as to where it stands right now?
It's going to be cut further. It's going to be cut further. I don't know the time. Jake, go into some.
Well, I was going to say, I'll look at my card as well, and I can follow up with you this week, but we're first going to that EC next week.
The details on Social Security will scare you to death when you look at the premier coming attractions. And what is it, Jake, 2035? Which is not that far off. I would make the argument it's going to be sooner. But on the specifics, we'll get the details on it.
The second question is, this is a decision my wife and I are going to have to make this fall, in that age 72, we're going to have to require minimum distribution on a couple of our savings accounts. I hear talk that might be changed from 72 to 75. What do you know about that?
Everything is up in the air with that. I couldn't tell you whether it's going to be changed or not. There's so much battling going on with the tax code. All I know is taxes are going to go up exponentially, and it's not going to be good for any of us, particularly those on fixed incomes and those are 65 and up. Again, we can find that out exactly for you too. But I'm not going to sit here and paint you a rosy picture on any of this stuff because it's not there. As I say, everything is theirs in their minds, and they're after the pocketbook, just like they're after your dollars, giving them to foreign governments with the gas prices, with everything else that we're doing now that didn't make no sense. We'll get the specifics for you.
Thank you. My name is Gary. The question I had, we're reading in the news that they're trying to get the 25th Amendment and so we said, come on, really? That's my take on it too. But have y'all thought of got any kind of plan to deal with her if she gets in?
No more than we have. It's just the lineup is not good. But we're only 8 months into this thing. That's the scary.
Get ready to follow it.
It's scary. They've done more damage in the first 8 months than the last 3 presidents.
And doing more. No, but our philosophy is, get them out, and maybe a miracle will happen. I believe in miracles. But not with Kamala Harris. She's not going to change her clothes. She's still talking about the Christmas shopping.
I know y'all need to tell her this stuff ain't funny.
No, it's not.
I'm worried we're not gonna
I
make
get
it.
my other question.
I'll be right back with you, okay?
Hi, my name's Julia, and you have become my favorite politician in the whole state of South Carolina. You really have. And I told my husband on the way here, you're the only one we trust. So I have to ask you, what do you think about subliminal efforts I'm seeing to audit the vote, the 2020 vote in South Carolina? And get rid of the voting machines, because if we don't fix it, they may wipe you out next time and we don't have to solve it.
It ain't subliminal.
Not only will they, it's not who votes, it's who counts the votes.
Amen.
The good news is Georgia made some changes. We got Jody Heights, who's a great, I'm in the Freedom Caucus. He's with me, the Freedom Fighters. He's running for Secretary of State. Roethlisberger sent out 2.5 million unsolicited ballots to ballot harvest. What they did was cause confusion in the 6 states. Why North Carolina extended the voting deadline for 10 days? If I get on a plane, I get on one every week. Do I just tell them to hold the plane? I won't be short within 10 days. If you go to a doctor's appointment with a doctor see you, you show up. What took place was criminal. And I had a town hall last night, and a computer specialist was talking about how the Dominion's machines used were just the algorithms were saying. And I said, that's a great example. Use your talent and tell me what to do in South Carolina. And show me the questions to ask that needed to be asked. And he's going to do that. So what I'm doing, we've written letters to the Election Commission. We got a lot of people coming here. I went to a town hall in a retirement community. I talk funny. These people talk funny. They're from New York. And they're coming here, folks. And a lot of what's interesting, a lot of them, the reason they left New York, they bring their politics down south with them. It's the reason they left is because to get away from high taxes and crime and all of the above. But I will tell you, we've got I was in Cherokee County. Cherokee County has been the most conservative county forever. They voted conservative. I ended in a Marine pilot. Maybe you've been interested in this. Marine pilot raised his hand and he said, Norman, do you know what's going on at the voting precincts? At the voting, the registration? I said, no. He said, Stacey Abrams is busing people into this day in Cherokee County. So we've got to get active on that. I did not know that. So go to your voter registrations and inquire. Not in a confrontational way. Just say, what's going on here? New people do be active. That's taking place in Cherokee County. So South Carolina's on the target list. She was successful in Georgia. We're turning her back. And by the way, all this, you can end the conversation real quickly with people who say the election wasn't stolen. Ask, do you believe in voter ID? What they're taking away, this H.R. 1 is taking away voter ID. Signature. How much says the signature verification? You can't do it. Drop boxes. Extended deadlines. Florida got it right. Florida's got 20 million people. They had a ending date that you had to have the vote in. If you didn't get it in, you were out of luck. And there's no racism on that. And we got to kick back on that because we have shied away because everything is racist today. The sheriff's office knows that, and we got to blow back on that. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'm 70 years old. Before 45, I had to go on disability Social Security, which I hadn't worked that long, so I only got a small amount. Now, I just get $600 a month. Can't get food stamps. And I'm having to live with my son and his wife put up with 6 dogs, 2 cats in the house. And I have a little problem on March 29th. And I say
6 dogs, 100 cats?
2 cats, 6 dogs.
Wow.
They go outside, but most of the time they stay inside. And I know I can feel all that dog hair and cat hair in my lungs.
Can you still spank your son? Can you spank your son?
No, because his wife controls him.
Can you spank her?
And she loves her dog, I think, more than him. But anyway, I have to live that way. With a little bit of Social Security, no food stamps. I got $73 per month, but I had to pay it back. Social Security took it back because of something I don't really understand. But I'm saying people can't help themselves when they get old anymore. They have to beg hard, not to steal, because I don't do that, to make ends meet, if they can even make ends meet.
Well, this crowd now, I hate to tell you, it's a pretty good coming attraction. They just have the mindset that it's their money. I mean, that's the end of the socialists that are running the party now, that run in this country, have the mindset they're going to take every bit of it. You know what I compare it to? All of us, I was on the road the other day and I had a 18-wheeler who was coming over pretty quick. And I thought, I got by it, but that's what this socialist party is doing. It's a takeover of our country. And we got to stop it. You got to get involved. But I wish I had some good news to tell you, but as I was telling this gentleman about the Social Security and taxation, their plan is tax you, take your money, spend it on social programs that benefit them and enrich themselves. Any politician that makes money in politics is a flat-out crook, and you got a lot of them in there. We got to hold South Carolina accountable from city council, school boards, and on up, so that it wouldn't happen and things don't happen like what happened in Carlisle.
Our are homeless, but yet they don't have to put money in everything else and bring out those people over from other countries and bring those diseases in. And I think COVID is a trick.
It is a trick.
I think it's the end of time because that's the mark of the beast. And praise the Lord, I'm not going to do it. I had a moment at Walmart yesterday, a black lady, real sweet. She said, my stepfather got both COVID shots, but we buried him this weekend with COVID, died with COVID. Now what does that tell you? God's in control.
Let me tell you this, people pray for me all the time, and I thank them. But let me suggest this to you. I love vegetables every year. I love them. I can pray all day long for vegetables. But you know what I have to do? I have to plant the seed. The miracle comes when you plant the seed. Take a dormant seed that lies dormant for a year or more, put it in the ground. That's when the Spirit comes in. But you got to go to work. And that's what I'm saying. Don't allow, think of your talent that you have. Put it to work, because just praying is not going to get it, folks. We've got to do more than that, particularly now with what we're going through in this country. Particularly, plant the seed. You never know what you're going to produce. Now, if you never plant it, you're never going to get the crop. So use that. I will always remember that. Tell your pastors that, because they've got to be bold now. If you don't listen to anything else I say, Gary Hamrick, Wake Up America, you ought to listen to that. I don't listen to any podcasts. He did it pre-election. Gary Hamrick, Wake Up America, is one of the best rundowns. He started it off by saying, any big donor that supports my church that doesn't like what I'm going to say, go ahead and leave. Just go ahead and leave, because I'm going to say it. And it was a refreshing, you can get it on the YouTube. Gary Hamrick's Wake Up America. Pray, but then follow it up with works. Faith without works is dead. Yes, sir.
Get introduced. I was on 85 tonight before election, if you may see 1 or 2 buses headed to Atlanta. I probably saw 50 or 60 buses headed to Atlanta, so I know it was real. And even people saw people when I had to stop and get fuel, and they say, you're headed to Atlanta to vote. But my main question is, my wife works at DSA. She's been working probably for 15, 16 years. She has a CWP, which is not allowed to carry it, even when she does home visits. Some of these officers back here will tell you the same thing. There are situations where they need, if they've got a CWP, they need to carry it. But if she carries, she's going to be fired. And there's been many situations she's needed one right then. A lot of times these officers back here will go with her. Usually, she don't get no. You never get one, she usually gets 2 or 3. But it's the principle that, you know, it ain't happened yet. But I know of, but it's a matter of time, especially nowadays. If they got a CWP, they need that weapon with them.
I tell people all day long, particularly my staff, CWP is like an umbrella. You may not need it, but when you do, you need to have it. Everybody ought to have a gun. Everybody ought to know how to use it, particularly now. Second Amendment, they're coming after our guns. And when you see the Taliban, look what they carry. AK-47s, all on the cyclone. And now they're coming after our guns. I mean, we gotta be vocal. And if there's one thing I would ask you to do is use your voice. All of you have got a voice. If we keep quiet, and if you're like that lady with her children who was scared to do anything, we lose our country. It wasn't built by people staying quiet. The left, and the good news is, the left is a small percentage. They act like they're bigger because they got the media behind them. But I'm ignoring the media. I mean, when I do interviews, CNN, I won't even, you know, I said, last time we had a bank of them, I said, look, who are you with? CNN. I said, where's your Hunter Biden story? Where's your big guy story? Where's your research on where COVID came from? You do that first and get on it.
Congressman, my name is Russell Kesson. I'm a retired dentist. Thank you for the work you're doing. I have a son-in-law who worked in the Capitol years ago. I used to kick him and say he had to take 4 baths when he came home. I bet you do too. Anyway, I've never voted for a Democrat in my life. I'm convinced the Democrats are a big criminal conspiracy. Give you a lot of credit, you have to deal with it. All that stuff coming across the border, all those drugs, a lot of people in these big cities, Democrat politicians, they're making big money out of that. That's it. That's what we're facing. Now, the only way we win, like you say, is go to the elected to the ballot box. People don't do that in the laws. Well, thank you again for what you're doing.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's an honor to do it. I'm doing this for our children and grandchildren. I mean, we'll be, you know, a lot of you are young. I'll be dead and gone if we don't fight and try to change the system. And sitting back is not going to happen. I mean, and I'm so excited about getting, and by the way, I need your money, folks, to give to people, to recruit. You don't realize how hard it is to get people to run for office. Everybody asks me, why do you do it? Well, it's service. You lose money. Now, if you're a crook, you can make money, but you lose money. It takes all your time. But what a noble cause to fight just what you're talking about, Doctor. It's the egos you get. Why people are Democrats now with what's taking over the party, I don't know. Have them explain it to you. They haven't had an honest explanation. Last week, we get this, we had an oversight meeting with all going on with Afghanistan. It was discrimination of electoral bills in blue cities. Discrimination. And I think it was Cori Bush. She was the girl. No, it may have been Rashida Tlaib. But they were talking about how, you know, couldn't afford the power bill. And I asked, I said, can I ask you something? What do you want to do? He said, we put solar panels on the roof. I said, really? In New York City? The climate good for that? And she just kind of looked at me and said, have you ever looked at a building that the HVAC is in the walls, the gas lines are underneath the pavement? Is it just that simple to put a solar panel on a roof? And she was like a deer in headlights. And I thought to myself, is this the mentality I'm dealing with? Anybody that, you don't even have to know construction. I mean, that's my world. But she actually thought just stick an electric panel, just stick a solar panel. Not to mention the sun doesn't shine 24 hours a day. That's what you're dealing with, and the mentality. They've never done anything. AOC was a bartender. Yeah, telling us how to live our lives. It makes no sense. That's why we got to kick back and, you know, I can't have an effect on New York. I can't have an effect. Jim Jordan was in town for me Saturday. We had 400 people. He's a true patriot. We're going all over the country, giving money to people who will fight the fight. Milquetoast politicians aren't going to get it. You got to have people willing to make the call and really lose the office if it comes to that. Because you got to make the right calls, and it's not going to make everybody happy. City Charleston Tecklenburg called me. He wanted me to vote on this infrastructure package, 1.4 trillion. It wasn't infrastructure, folks. It was 10% of it. 9% was infrastructure, bridges, roads, streets, but it was given to cities that were being bailed out. The other 90% was just bailouts. And along with 3.5 trillion coming behind it is permanent legalization for 8 million illegals. 8 million. And I mean, that's what I'm doing. But anyway, I said, and I told the Chamber of Commerce too, I said, it's got some good things for South Carolina. I said, it may have, but let me ask you this. Would you take a pill that was 10% good for you, 9%